grouping and how that's different from parenting or combining. And yeah, I have mine set up in the 4 view, which I like to keep it. That way I can switch easily from view to view. And you could do a perspective outliner for this, so you can kind of see how your groups are set up. But I like to keep mine in the 4 view, and you can keep it in that view, and then go to Window, and then click Outliner, and then you can have your outliner there and still have all 4 views available to you. But obviously a lot of objects can be created. You know, this thing is made up of many different objects. You know, the kind of rose shape is made up of, you know, probably 40 different objects, and all of these are different objects. So a great way to be able to edit all of them is grouping, and I'm on a Mac, so you just select them all, and for me it's just Command G, probably Control G on a PC, and now they're all in a group. And yeah, what can be really helpful is to go in and name it. I need to kind of clean this up, but so now in your outliner, if you select that group, it selects the whole thing. So I would go through and I'd go to select it, and then wait a minute, it only selects one thing. So you can go back into your outliner and select the whole group, but that's kind of annoying. So for a bit I was like, oh well, I can just take all these, and under the polygon menu go to mesh combine and make them all one shape, which is not always the best to do, because when it comes to shading, let's say I want this to be red, if it's all one shape, it's really difficult to apply a different shader, whereas you know, if they're a group, they're separate like this, and you can apply a shader, but you can select the whole thing at once as well. But what I didn't realize, one really cool tip, if you select one of them, then you hit the up arrow key, boom, it shifts up to your group, and then you can hit the down arrow key. And now that's what I use for most things. And what's really nice about grouping is you can really change them around, and they're very, very flexible. You can just add a group, and there's really nothing bad about switching groups around. There's no consequences. So yeah, I have this grouped up, and I created my own menu. I got another tutorial about that, but if you hold down like Control and Shift, it'll add it. So this is the stuff I use all the time. And what you always want to do is center your pivot, because obviously a group is going to have a much different center pivot. So if you modify it, like for example, if we group the pivot's way over there, so if you're trying to rotate it, it won't really work. If you center it, and I often delete history just so I can move it around, unless you really need it. And with combine, where that can come in use is like on this thing here. What I did, I created this, and then these arms branching out with a curve extrusion. I've got another tutorial on that, but I'm like, well, I could do this whole thing again for the other side, but instead what I did is I took it, I duplicated it, moved it 180, positioned it here, and then combined both of them, and then merged the vertices with, yeah, just merge. Worked great, and made it, now this is one object, even though I didn't have to redo all these extrusions. So there's also parenting, but that's more for using one object to drive something in another one, have it mimic. So often that's more with animation. So grouping is a great way. You can see here I've got all these grouped, and I can move this around as if it's one object, but still affect the individual objects as well.